everybody, it's Mariana with 3 Peaks Classroom. If you are new to my channel, hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. I am currently an English as an additional language teacher at my school, but I'm also a former grade 3 and grade 4 teacher, and I love to make helpful YouTube videos for other teachers just like you. In today's episode, I want to share with you a phonics screener that you can give to your students at any point in the year to help you identify where the students are in their phonics progression, but also pinpointing what are the needs that they have, where are their struggles in terms of reading and writing. I'm going to mention to you that this is the 4th and final episode in my phonics little mini series. So if you have not watched the first 3 episodes, I highly recommend that you check those out because there's a lot of valuable information in there. I talk about the differences between the phonics progression and the phonemic awareness progression, why both of them are important in your classroom. And I actually go into each of the progressions in their own episodes, every single step of the way, and I give you activities that you can do in your classroom to help support all of your learners. So after you do this screener, then you can go back to those episodes and you can say, okay, well, this student is clearly here, and what are some activities that I can work with them? So those are the first 3 episodes in my mini series. I will link all of that below. But this is also a friendly reminder that if you have not yet subscribed and hit that notification bell, to please do so that you don't miss any episodes that I have coming out in the future as well. Let's get started. So before I jump in and show you the phonics screener, I actually want to talk about why it's important for you to use a screener in your classroom. You don't need to use this particular screener. You can use any sort of phonics quiz or spelling quiz, but I designed this one to be really quick and effective. It's just 40 words. It won't take you more than 10 minutes to complete the screener, but oh my goodness, the information that it will give you will be invaluable. Having the screener and the results from the screener will really allow you to pinpoint the exact needs that your students have and the areas that they are faltering in. And it'll help you to pinpoint what are some activities that I can do to help support the student, because we know that the phonics progression and phonemic awareness progression, it's a set of building blocks. And so if they're failing in this foundational block, it's important that we go back and revisit and build up those tools so that they can then see future success in the later progression. Okay, I'm going to be talking about this exact screener. So if you want the same screener that I use in my classroom, it's a really quick little download. There's a 1-pager that tells you how to administer it, and then it also gives you the information that you need. Then there's the answer page that you can use with your students if you would like. There's different lines on here, and I'll explain that in a second. And then here is the actual set of words that you can use. If you would like this screener, you can go to my website at 3peaksclassroom.com/phonics. And there you'll be able to put in your name and your email, and there you'll be able to get a download of this exact screener, and you can use it right away in your classrooms. I do want to put out a little disclaimer though. This is not a full-on start to finish program that has assessments built in and lessons and all of that. This is just literally a 1-page spelling test. It really is a spelling test to determine what areas of the phonics progression your students are faltering in. And I focused primarily on the first 5 or 6 building blocks of the phonics progression. So there's not going to be really advanced words on there. I believe that if your students have these words and if they're able to spell these words in these sections, they have a really good foundation of phonics. So that's what this screener was designed to be. I also wanted to make the screener really simple and effective to use because I know as teachers, we have absolutely no time, especially spare time, to be learning any sort of additional program. I know Words Their Way is a fantastic spelling program, phonics program that people use. And UFly also is a fantastic program. UFly, I feel, is more designed for younger grades, and Words Their Way can be used in older grades, but my goodness, Words Their Way is a hefty, hefty resource. And if you don't have the time to put into understanding Words Their Way, then where does that leave you? I wanted to create a quick little screener that kind of fills in that gap. All right, so step number 1, preparing for the screener. There is no preparing for the screener. All you have to do is make sure that you give students an answer sheet. This could be just a loose leaf piece of paper and the students write numbers 1 to 40 on it, or you can use the page that I give in my download. You'll notice that there are sections and there's an extra black line. I'm going to talk about that in a second in terms of assessments, but this is a really handy way to see which section your students are most struggling in, and it'll help to determine what kind of strategies to support them with. So step number 1 is provide them with an answer page and make sure that you have your list of words to say to the kids. Step number 2, when you are about to administer the quiz, just make sure that you prepare the students and let them know that this is not for marks. This is just information for you as the teacher to understand where they are in their spelling abilities and where you need to focus with each individual student. All right, when it's time to actually administer the spelling test, you're basically going to go through each word one at a time. You're going to give them about 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds to spell the word correctly. And you're going to say the word and maybe say the word in a sentence to give the kids a little bit of a context. But I'm going to make sure to preface this by saying, don't over exaggerate the way that you say the word. Don't say cat. Don't do that. Don't exaggerate the words. Just say it nice and simple. Say it in a phrase. Give them 10, 15 seconds, and then move on to the next word. And if need be, you can always go back and you can repeat. If someone says like, oh, I missed number 10, you can go, oh, number 10, lamp, right? So don't over exaggerate the words or the syllables. And I would also mention to try to avoid having the words in the environment as well. So like a word wall or anything like that, because you want to see if these kids are able to spell these words on their own based on their own recall and not just searching for it in the environment. So just make sure that those things are taken care of. So after the screener is done, you're going to collect all the papers and then you're going to score them and analyze them. So you're just going to basically check if they spelled it correct or not. And then after that, you're going to look at my little screener here to analyze the results. And the way that I've organized it, you can see in the dark lines, is each section. So section 1, words 1 to 4, these are your consonants, short vowel sounds, CVC words. These are very, very basic words that students learn in kindergarten. Then your next section is words numbers 5 to 9, and those are your digraphs. And then it builds on. So this literally follows the exact phonics progression that I talked about in my episode previous. So I'm not going to go through each step of the way. But let's just say, for example, that a student is struggling in that second section. So words 5 to 9, they've made 3 mistakes or more. That section is digraphs. So I even wrote here, if a student struggles mostly here, focus on teaching digraph spellings at the beginning and at the ending of words. Now, they might have also made spelling mistakes for the rest of the test, but these levels build on the previous one. So we're talking about the foundation of phonics. You wouldn't want to focus here without making sure that they have mastered these first building blocks. So even though they've made mistakes here, I'm going to go back to the very first section that they made the most mistakes in, and that would be digraphs. And so that is where I would group my class based on where they are struggling. So now the next step is using that information, you are going to be building and supporting individual students. And how do you do that? You're going to take like-minded students who are struggling in the same area. So let's say I have a class of 25 kids, and I've identified 5 or 6 kids that are really struggling with those digraphs, that second section. Then those are my 5 or 6 kids that I pull in a group and we meet for a targeted practice every day, every other day, hopefully twice a week at the minimum. And we run targeted practice like that for 3 to 4 weeks. So we would do that. That would be my small group. I would sit down with them and we would just expose them and we would practice saying the digraphs, reading the digraphs, playing with the digraphs, etc. And then the next step is to monitor their progress. And so after about 3 to 4 weeks, and remember, I'm doing this with all my students. I might have a group of 5 students that are working on digraphs, and then I might have 5 or 6 kids working on common long vowel sounds, maybe 5 or 6 working on silent letters, and then maybe I have a couple of kids that are working on longer word families. So I'm meeting with these groups. After about 3 or 4 weeks, then I'm going to administer a smaller version of this screener. Those kids that I'm working with in digraphs, then I'm going to give them those exact words again, or maybe a new set of words that have digraphs in them. And I'm hoping that they score better than they did previous. So then once it comes time to graduate the current set of groups, everybody gets their uber short screener in their groups. I sit with my group of 5 kids and I give them 10 words all in that little section. And then I assess them, and those kids that have graduated, I will move them into the next group. So from digraphs, then they're moving into blends. But I would cross-reference that to see how they did on the initial screener. And if they actually got a lot of the words correct in the blends section, I would move them up after that. I wouldn't waste their time. I want to target and focus where they need it the most. So they've graduated digraphs. I look at the initial screener. They're doing really good with blends. I'm going to avoid that. Oh, okay. Now they need some practice with common long vowels. That's where they made the next big chunk of errors on the initial screener. So I'm going to slot these kids 1, 2, 3 out of my group of 5, and they're going to go to common long vowels. Let's say you do have a student that did not pass their digraphs assessment and they got another 3 questions or another 3 words incorrect, they're going to stay in the digraphs group because that is where they need the targeted intervention the most. But with your new information, with your new little Uber mini screeners that you have, and you're cross-referencing it with the first screener that you gave, then you're going to make a new set of groups for your targeted instruction. And you're going to do this once a month, and you're going to re-administer the initial screener that you gave to your students. You're going to re-administer it maybe 2 months later or 3 months later to get an updated progress report on each of the kids. Now, I can foresee this question coming in, and the question might be, do you give the exact same screener? And you can, that's up to you. You can give the exact same list of words to your students. If you're doing the master screener, you can do the exact same set of words. Or knowing the different sections on your screener, you might choose to change up some of the words. So instead of ship, you might think of another word that starts with an SH digraph in the beginning. So maybe you write shoot. And then, you have number 8 is when. So that's WH digraph. Maybe you do what. So really easy to change up the words on here, but still giving you that information about, are they able to understand digraphs? Are they able to understand blends? Are they able to understand common long vowels, uncommon long vowels, etc.? So it's up to you. If you want to keep it simple, you can absolutely use the same set of words, the same set of master words to give them the overall screener. One final thought before I let you go. The reason why I enjoy using this screener with my students is because it's a great talking point with parents. When you have demonstration of learning or parent-teacher night, or if a parent comes in after school and they want to ask you, like, how is my individual child doing? Well, you can pull out the screener and say, oh, well, at the beginning of the year, I gave them this spelling test and I identified that we need help in this and this area. And so I was able to provide Johnny with targeted instruction in this group. And you can see that I followed that up with a little mini quiz where Johnny was so successful that I was able to graduate him from that group, and I've advanced him into the next group or whatever. That is something that parents want to see. They want to hear that you are working and targeting that instruction to their child. So there you go. That is my screener, Phonics Screener in a nutshell. Remember, you can always go back to my website to download yourself a copy. That's www.threepeaksclassroom.com/phonics. There you'll need to input your name and your email address. You will need to confirm your email address just to make sure that you're not some random bot. And then in the confirmation email, you will get the link to download this Phonics Screener. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up so that YouTube's algorithm can send it to other teachers who might be struggling in teaching phonics. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments and I will get back to you. As always, if you are looking for any sort of links, you can check the description of this video as well. Cheers, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.